In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful. Happiness. Happiness is something which is needed by each and everyone else, which is desired, loved by each and everyone else. Happiness. We all have right to become happy and we long for it, desire for it so desperately, so direly. Dear friends, happiness is a double-edged sword. Happiness in a way is a double-edged sword. It must be must be taken quite cautiously, quite carefully. Why? Because happiness in many of the cases turn into trouble. Not necessarily in each and every case. It turns into trouble so often, quite often. How? There are people who are, you know, found in the bad company for the sake of happiness. They want to become happy and they are seen entangled, busy with the wrong sort of people for the sake of happiness. They might get some happiness and excitement from there, but later on they do have to pay a huge price of it. Later on they do have to pay a huge price of it, not just a little one. How? A bad company, obviously, once we are accompanied by a friend, by a group of friends, and we spend a good amount of time with those people, or even if we spend a little bit of time with those people but we are not very cautious and careful, then if it is a bad company, it will be indulging in the bad things, and those bad things obviously are going to create a kind of trouble indeed, dear friends. How? What? They might be taking the drugs, they might be doing the womanization, they might be, creating trouble to other people, they might be doing certain other illegal, unlawful, and unethical activities. All of these are the things which are not only very unethical, rather, a person have to pay a huge price of it. Even here in this world, not to talk of the life hereafter, dear friends. Another some of the people, they're not bad people, but they are dependent upon their happiness. Their happiness depends upon the other people. Their happiness depends upon the other people. If at all those people are anyone is providing them, any one of those people is providing them with the company, with the sweet company, so they are happy. But as soon as they they are not, you know, getting all that, they will become unhappy. Unhappy, even more unhappy than they were earlier. So this is a sort of addictive activity. Not only the drugs are addictive, drugs are the worst kind of addiction. Not only the addiction, rather the drugs are the worst kind of addictions. So it must be avoided at all cost. I have seen some of the people, they indulge in the overwork, excessive work. Some of the people are seen indulging in the excessive work. Excessive work, lacking the balance in the society, too much of the work, it actually weakens our nerves, and it actually, you know, reduces a lot our willpower, our mental strength. Once our mental strength or the willpower has gone down, our nerves have become weak. So it is very difficult for us to restrain from the bad activities, not to indulge in the bad activities, not to indulge in the drugs, not to indulge in the illicit sex. Dear friends, it is very important to maintain a kind of balance, not to do the excessive work at all. And after doing your work, it is really important to somehow get enough amount of relaxation. Relax, relax, relax. Relaxing is something else, a happiness, excitement is something else. Relaxation we can take just by taking rest, while sitting at a nice place, which has a scenic beauty, or where either we are alone relaxing, or we are with a reasonable person, the person we like up to an extent. So my dear friends, happiness, seeking happiness, it might seem apparently as the cause and the purpose of life, as a cause and the purpose of life, as a very legitimate right of each and every human being. But my dear friend, happiness, we must be very cautious, we must be very careful. As and when we are talking about the happiness, as and when we are, seeking the happiness, seeking the happiness, that is what we need to take care of. We must be careful and cautious. Otherwise, this happiness is going to drain us down the drain. This happiness is might cause put us into the trouble, into a sort of situation which will be very complicated, and we will be gaining lot of mental stress and pain and trouble and sadness. All of those things combined. Why? Because we were seeking the happiness unconditional. Our very strict conditions were not attached, you know, along with this happiness. Happiness must be curtailed, must be taken restrictively. Otherwise, the relaxation, that is something really nice. Plus, why not to seek the happiness through positive means, through meditation, through prayer, through anything else which is ethical enough, which is morally okay, and which is legal enough, which is good for our health. There are people who are seen eating the things which are not good for their health at all. Like if somebody have got a high blood pressure, hypertension, if at all somebody is hypertensive, if at all somebody is diabetic, if at all somebody is having a kind of high cholesterol, high triglyceride level, and they are taken the food unrestrictively, whatever they like, whatever they enjoy, the enjoyment will be for a very very short span of time, for few minutes only, during the time a person is found eating. But later on, the trouble caused by it is a lot, it is huge, it might be up to an extent very difficult to manage. So my dear friends, we must be very careful, we must be very cautious as for the happiness, as for the intake of happiness is concerned, because the happiness is a double edged sword.